It was pretty unanimous. Hips and twists, definitely one. Shoulders and neck will be included. So, but yeah, lots of hips and twists. And I wanted to teach you something, show you something, because it is very important to some of the movements that we're going to be doing. It's called posterior pelvic tilt. So when you're in a lunge, standing, or kneeling, we have a tendency to dump into the low back. The lower back curves very significantly, and it's very easy to do so. If you think about the natural shape of the spine, the upper back is more rounded, the lower back is more rounded in the opposite direction. So this is our natural state, or it shouldn't be our natural state. When you're taking a posterior pelvic tilt, you're going to point the tailbone downwards. You're going to hug the abdomen in, and you're going to use the glutes to create hip extension or hip stretch, what you'd feel in a kneeling lunge or a crescent lunge, something of that nature. So I want you to remember that posterior pelvic tilt once we come into our kneeling lunges, our crescent lunges, and really even in the very beginning, we'll start out reclined and we'll alternate knees into chest. When you extend that opposite leg, you want to make sure your low back isn't pulling off the ground as you extend it. The psoas muscle that runs from the hips to the low back, it runs kind of across the front through the pelvis and connects into one of the lower spine vertebra. Someone on here probably can tell you. I can't think of it right now, sorry. And I don't want to say the wrong thing. This muscle gets very, very tight when we sit and we stand up, and it doesn't want to let that flexion come out of play. Pardon me. Flexion versus extension. Flexion when we're sitting, extension when we're finding that hip stretch. So as you stand up from sitting for long periods of time, you're not trying to do this, but that muscle says, hey, give me that spine. I want it. I want it over here. So think of reversing that when we take even warrior one, even a little bit of warrior two. But mostly our lunges, and then when we're on the floor, think about that, and I'll kind of remind you of that. But a very key movement that is unfortunately not so natural for us to do, especially if we're working from home or in a chair that's not as comfortable. I find myself sitting on the floor a lot, and my low back hasn't been super happy about that either. So let's get into our hips and our twists. We will start seated, please. Centering first, of course. And you can sit onto a cushion, onto a towel, whatever you need. Feel where hips land. Feel where legs land. Feel the breath move in through the nose, down, filling the lungs, filling lower down into the abdomen. Feel the navel expand. And as you exhale, release the breath back up and out through the nose. Inhales down into navel. Exhales up and out through the nose. Feeling the expansion move downwards as you breathe in, upper chest, lower lobes of the lungs down into navel, and exhales back up and out through the nose. If you'd like, setting an intention for your practice. Bowing your head to your chest to seal it in. And keep the chin toward the chest. Even add a little bit more effort forward so the chin starts to drop toward the sternum. Now start to swivel the head gently, just a quarter turn, so left ear moves over left shoulder. Tip the right cheekbone up slightly. Exhale, chin drops back toward the chest. Inhale, right ear starts to swivel over right shoulder, left cheekbone lifts. Exhale, chin back toward the sternum. Just one more each side. Inhale, left ear over left shoulder. Chin back toward the sternum. Right ear over right shoulder. And chin back to the sternum. Take the head up, stacked up over the spine. Turn your head to the left. Keeping it here. Tip the chin downwards. Think of raising the very back of the skull, lengthening the back of the neck as chin moves toward your left collarbone. Head back up to neutral. Turn the head all the way to the right, gently, slowly, and tip the chin down toward right collarbone, lengthening the back of the neck. Head to neutral, and then forwards once again. Now please take your right hand and hold on to the chin. Take the left hand, kind of pointing the thumb and the pointer finger to the back corners of the skull, lifting the back of the skull, lifting through the occipital ridge, and pressing the chin back toward the throat, lengthening the back of the neck. Don't worry about the double chin. It's supposed to look that way during this stretch. And release. From here, please spin around onto your back. Let your feet face what will be the front of your mat. Releasing all the way back. Let the knees bend toward the ceiling. Take the arms down on either side of the torso. Feel now how your low back curve might be slightly lifted off the ground, and that's okay. That's very normal. As you exhale, hug the navel back toward the spine, spine toward the floor. You will feel a slight tip in the pelvis. As you inhale, release the abdomen. Pelvis might shift back. Lower spine might lift away from the floor. Exhale, hug back, taking a pelvic tilt, creating this action from the core, from the abdomen, not necessarily the feet pressing into the ground. Inhale, soft release. Exhale, navel strong, hug back. Inhale, soft release. Exhale, hug the navel in. And place the arms down on either side of the torso. Lift the hips to a bridge pose. Again, find that posterior pelvic tilt. Glutes are what is going to help extend hip flexors forwards, hip points forwards, tops of the legs. Navel hugs back slightly, kind of rounding into opposition. So we don't want the butt to hang down. We don't want the belly to pop up, but switch. Hips, glutes press up as navel hugs back. Still breathing. And release the spine, release the hips to the floor. Hug both knees into the chest, keeping the lower spine in mind. Left knee stays to the chest. Inhale, extend the right leg out, flex the right footprint away. And it might not get all the way down. That's okay. Keep the priority in the low back. Exhale, right knee back to chest. Left leg, inhale, extend out, left foot flexed away. Exhale, back in. Only take that leg as far as low back can stay. Inhale, right leg out, keeping it out. Extra for the core, extra. Exhale, hug up, forehead to left knee to forehead. Inhale, release shoulders and head back. Exhale, right knee to chest. Left leg, inhale, extend out to stay out. Navel hugs back. Exhale, curl up, head to right knee. Inhale, shoulders and head back. Left knee, both knees to chest. One more each of these. Right leg out to stay. Exhale, hug up to left knee. Soften shoulders and head back. Right knee to chest. Low back priority. Inhale, left leg out. Exhale, hug up to right knee. Soften shoulders and head back. And left knee, both knees to chest. From here, plant the right footprint. Extend left footprint up to the ceiling if you'd like. If you're having a great difficulty, I do, and I'm going to do this. Keeping the lower spine to the floor, you can take the hands into L's with the fingers still extended, bracing the low back, placing the thumbs. I like to take mine just below where you'd think of the very top flat portion above the tailbone, the sacrum.
Supporting here so low back can stay. Please create a circle with the left leg. Circling, keeping the low back anchored. So this may feel more like a core workout than a hip mobility function. Still breathing, free breathing as we circle. And circle the opposite direction, please. Again, core stays. And cross left ankle over the right thigh, figure 4, but we're going to go hands free. Bring right knee toward right shoulder. Left knee actively presses away. Press left ankle into right knee. Right knee tries to bring left ankle toward the chest. Navel stays strong, anchoring lower spine. It's really easy to forget about. Don't feel bad if you did. Release right foot and left foot back to the floor. This time, right footprint up toward the ceiling. Hug the low belly back, lower spine back, bracing if you need to with the hands. Circling with the right foot as though we were drawing a circle on the ceiling. Still breathing even if navel stays strong. Circle in the opposite direction. And cross right ankle over the top of the left thigh, arms free, figure 4. Left knee toward left shoulder, right knee actively away, pressing ankle to thigh, thigh to ankle. Lower back, hugs back. We're going to be doing a lot of strange active things today. Beware, there will be a flow in there, don't worry. And release left foot and right foot back to the floor. Take the arms out to the sides, T-shape. Walk the feet a little wider than hips. Exhale, release the knees to the left. Stay for a breath, windshield wiper legs. Inhale, point the knees up. Ground the lower back as we point the knees up. Exhale, release the knees to the right. Left hip, lower back will come off when we're here. Inhale, point up, reground back through belly button. Exhale, knees to the left. No breath this time. Inhale, point back up. Knees to the right. Exhale. Inhale, point up. One more each. Knees left. Inhale, point up. And knees right. Inhale, point up. Walk the feet back toward one another. Picking up the feet, knees over hips or navel. Tuck the hands behind the knees. Navel strong, rocking a couple times up to boat pose. Lifting the chest, navel draws back. And tip forward, soles of the feet together, pinky toe edges land. Sitting tall for star pose or diamond pose. Hinging from hip joints, start to fold the navel forward. Hands can walk to ankles, toes, or maybe past. Walk the hands over to the left in front of left shin, right knee, right hip stay relaxed. Think of dropping right shoulder and right rib cage down toward left calf as well. Hands walk to the center. From here, plant the left hand in front of the toes or onto left foot. Inhale, open the right arm back behind. Feel the shoulder blades slide back toward the spine. Look back with right hand. Stay here. Turn the head back toward left hand, front hand. Inhale, turn the head back toward right hand. Exhale, front hand. Inhale, open back. And look forwards. Release the right hand. Walk the hands over in front of right shin, just inside right knee. Again, feel like left shoulder, left rib cage is moving down toward right calf. Hands back to the center, leaving the right hand in front of the toes or onto the sole of right foot. Inhale, open the left arm behind. Feeling left shoulder blade, pull back towards spine. Exhale, turn the head toward right hand, front hand. Inhale, turn the head back toward left hand. Exhale, front hand. Inhale, back hand. Once more, front. Once more, back. And release the head to the front and the left hand to the front. Walking the hands back, please shift forwards. Make your way onto hands and knees. And we'll hover the knees, coming into a floating tabletop. Core strong once again, navel hug to the spine. Float the knees an inch or two, or if they don't float, at least bring that energy there. Next exhale, hips up, move back to down dog. Bending the knees if you'd like. In fact, let's take that a couple times. Bend the knees so much the torso lands on the legs, and then gently start to straighten. Knees do not have to straighten all the way. Bend into the knees, maybe brings a little bit more extension in the shoulders. Inhale, straighten the legs. Bend back in one more time. And straighten up. From here, inhale, right leg back to three-legged dog. Round the knee toward the nose, core strong. Similar action as when we hugged opposite knees to chest on the floor. Inhale, extend right leg straight back. 2 more times, knee toward nose. Inhale, extend back. Knee to nose. Inhale, extend back. Release back to down dog. Other side, left leg, inhale, extend, 3 legs. Round knee toward nose, navel hugs. Inhale, back 3 legs. Round, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged dog. And round to nose. Back up. Down dog, release. Walk the feet forwards, come into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, extension through the spine, heart forwards. Exhale, forward fold. We can bend the knees in any fold. Inhale, raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Even as we come to standing, find that slight posterior pelvic tilt. Navel strong, glutes slightly engaged to press hip flexors forwards. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. Step your right leg back to runner's lunge. Taking a long enough stance that we can make sure left knee is somewhere over left ankle, maybe midfoot, but not past the toes. Heel is landed. From here, bend your right knee so that it lands down onto the floor. Take a breath here in kneeling lunge. Navel hugs, hip flexor forwards. If you'd like, if the knee is comfortable doing so, bend the knee, hug right heel toward right hip. Release right toes back to the floor. Straighten right knee off the ground. Inhale, take left arm up to the ceiling, revolved runner's lunge, left shoulder, left hand lift. And release the left hand back to runner's lunge. Left leg back to 3-legged dog. Down dog, release. Inhale, plank or kneeling plank. Stay to breathe here. Navel hugging away from the floor. Exhale, release all the way down to the ground. Coming into locust pose. Hands back around the hips. Pull the triceps back toward rib cage, lifting through the chest. Legs float, breathing here. Staying, still breathing. Playing with lighting. I didn't like it. Go ahead and release back down, hands around the rib cage. Move back to down dog. You can adjust the stance where you need to be. Feet may need to move. After your exhale, walk, step, or hop forwards. Come to a half lift at the top. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center.
Other side. Inhale, raise the arms. Forward fold. Half lift. Fold, plant the hands, step left leg back for runner's lunge. Long stance between right foot and left toes. Releasing left knee down to the floor. Staying here in our kneeling lunge. Hands can stay to the ground or to blocks around the foot. Again, slight navel hug, bringing the stretch into left hip. Bending left knee, hug heel toward the hip if you want, if you can. If not, go ahead and leave the toes. Release left toes to the floor, straighten left knee off the ground, runner's lunge. Inhale, right arm up to the ceiling, revolved runner's lunge. Right hand lifts high, open right shoulder, right chest. And release right hand to the floor. Right leg back to three-legged dog. Down dog, release. Plank or kneeling plank, stay to breathe. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Take the arms into a goal post shape. Lift the chest, hover here as though we were coming into locust with our goal post back bend arms. Lift the legs as well. As you inhale, take the legs wide and the arms forwards. Thumbs up, arms around the ears. Exhale, pull the elbows back, draw the legs towards one another. Lift through the back, lift through the chest. Inhale, legs widen, hands forwards toward one another. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, extend the legs wide, arms forwards. Exhale, pull back. Release hands around rib cage. Come back into a child's pose. Hips release back toward the heels. Forehead may or may not land. Either option is fine. If you'd like, if you have a pillow, a block, a book that is more narrow than your shoulders, you could release the forehead to the ground. And here, actively press the hands into the floor. So usually we just relax the arm in child's pose. Maybe the elbows straighten off the floor. And on your inhale, lift the right hand, or try to lift the right hand off the ground. Maybe it just hovers an inch or two. Maybe it really lifts. Release right hand back to the ground. Lift left hand off the floor, still breathing. And release. Maybe both arms or each arm for about 3 breaths each. Your choice. Full for 3 to 6 or one at a time for 3 breaths. And release when you're ready. If we had a block or book that you were resting the forehead on, set it to the side. Inhale, feel the chest pull forwards. Cow pose, lift the chest, shoulder blades back. Cat pose, exhale, round. Extra strength into the navel. Inhale, back to cow pose, lift the chest. Tuck the toes, back to down dog. Walk the feet forwards, back to a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale to half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Step your right leg back into crescent lunge and take a little shorter variation of crescent lunge than we usually would. Raise the arms up overhead, keeping the shoulders soft down the back. From here, bend the right knee slightly. Not quite a lunge. Find that tilt, hug the navel back, squeeze through the glute. Keep that engagement through the hip, and then re-straighten the right knee. We're going to do it again. Bend the right knee, sink down a little farther. Navel hugs back, hip extension, and straighten the right knee, trying to keep as much as we can. One more time, bend the right knee, hug the navel in, pelvic tilt, and then straighten the right knee. Twisting, right arm forward, left arm behind, staying to breathe. Heart forwards, lift the arms up. Hands land down around left foot.
Left leg back to three-legged dog if you'd like, opening the hips, raising through outside seam of left hip and left leg. Glute is active here, lifting. If you'd like, bend left knee, press the left foot behind. Inhale, straight back to three-legged dog, level hips. Down dog, release. Your choice. Staying here, child's pose, or plank or kneeling plank. Staying for a breath or two, or lower, vinyasa. Your back bend of choice if you'd like. Navel moves you back to down dog. Walk, step, or hop forwards, half lift back at the top. Interlace hands behind the back, or grab a small towel, strap, sock, or a shirt between the hands, open the chest, and fold forwards. Torso could land on the legs or toward the legs. Knees could bend. Inhale back to a half lift, hands release to knees or shins. Forward fold. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Inhale, raise the arms. Forward fold. Half lift. Fold, plant the hands, step the left leg back for crescent lunge. Again, a slightly shorter stance than we usually take. Raise all the way up. Shoulders can stay soft. Now notice where the spine is, where left hip is right now. Bend left knee, sink lower a little bit, bringing the stretch out. Hug the navel back. Try to keep the navel back as you straighten the left knee again. Bend into the left knee, hug back. Check in with the glute, with the navel. Straighten the left knee. Bend the left knee, check in. Inhale, straighten, and twist. Left arm forward, right arm behind. Inhale, heart forwards, arms lift. Fold, hands down around right foot. Right leg back to three-legged dog. Open hips if you'd like. Strength through the outside of right glute, right hip. Bend the knee if you'd like to press back. You can even bring the hip into extension here. This is what we're trying to do. Not taking a super curvy back bend, but bringing that extension forwards into the right hip flexor. Inhale, straight back, three-legged dog. Down dog, release. Again, your choice. Staying child's pose or vinyasa if you'd like. And navel moves you back to down dog from wherever you are. Walk, step, or hop forwards. Half lift at the top. Interlace hands behind the back again, or grab our strap or towel. Exhale to fold. Hands raise away from the low back. Inhale back to a half lift, hands to knees or shins. Forward fold. Raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Shift your weight into the left leg. Bend the right knee up toward the height of the hip, finding your balance first. Left leg is strong. And cross right ankle over the top. Ooh, there we go. Over the left thigh. Coming into our figure four chair. Whew, this is hard today. Sitting the hips back again. Right knee toward the floor. Right hip sits down. Bending left knee. And stand up. Float the right knee. Release right foot back to the floor. Shift your weight into right leg. Left knee bends up toward the height of the hip. Cross left ankle over right thigh. Sitting back, figure four chair. Left hip sits down. Left knee toward the floor. And standing up, float the left knee. Release left foot back to the floor. Take the hands to the hips and step the right leg back. We'll come into a goddess pose stance. So the toes a little wider than the heels. Inhale the arms up overhead. Take the elbows wide, goalpost, pull down, press knees wide over the toes. 3 times. Inhale, lift up. That was 1. Exhale, sit back, elbows wide. Inhale to raise. Aware of the navel, sit back to stay. Keeping the knees pressing wide, outside of glutes, outside seams of the legs active. And take the hands down onto the tops of the legs and bring some of the weight into the arms so the legs aren't working as hard. As you exhale, twist to your left. Drop the right shoulder. Exhale, hug the navel in as we twist. Inhale, lift up to center. Drop the left shoulder. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale to middle. Twist to the left. Back to middle. Twist to the right. Lifting up to middle, legs strong. Stand up, toes in front of the heels. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms wide, wide leg fold. Hands can land below the face or walk back between the feet. Inhale to wide leg half lift. Pivot the left toes to the front of the mat. Walk around into our kneeling lunge again. We can take this as a runner's lunge and pyramid too if sitting your right knee on the floor is not comfortable. Start to move the hips back, beginning to straighten the left knee as we fold over left leg. We can take hands to blocks or to books if you'd like, if the hands do not quite reach the floor. And bend into the left knee. Noticing how long your stance is. We might need to pull left foot back slightly, shortening the stance. Stand up onto your right knee. Try to get the right knee directly below the hip, so we might need to back up even more. This may mean we need to slide the left foot back even more. Finding that posterior pelvic tilt. Glute hugs in to press hip flexor forwards. Okay, take the left hand to the left hip. Raise left arm up so right knee is down, right arm is up, reach up and over slightly. Stretching through outside seam of right leg, right side of the torso. Inhale, both arms up overhead and fold, hands down around left foot. If you scooched your left foot back, you might need to take it forwards again. Coming into kneeling pyramid, adjust the length of the legs if you need. Now, bending into the left knee, we'll come into lizard pose. Walk the left leg outside of left arm. Bring the left arm inside, left knee, left foot. From here, tuck the right toes under. Straighten the right knee off the floor, like we did with our kneeling lunge and runner's lunge earlier. Still breathing even as we lift. And release right knee to the floor. Actively, without using the right hand, hug right heel toward right hip. So we're stretching through right quad, active through right hamstring. Release the right toes to the floor. And if you'd like to, staying here, adding on any of the prior, or left hand to left knee, adding a twist. If you'd like, we can add the knee bend. We may decide to take the bind, or we may choose to keep it active. Keeping it active will help strengthen the hamstring and the glute, as opposed to letting the arm do all of the work, though it will stretch more in the front of the right leg. Releasing. Walk the left leg. Keep the left leg outside. Take the left hand inside left leg. Straighten the right knee off the floor. Pivot the feet back to a wide leg fold. And go ahead and adjust the feet so that they're more toward parallel. Hands can walk down below the face, between feet. Even add on holding big toes, ankles, or calves. Inhale back to a wide leg half lift. Pivot right toes to the back of the mat. Walking around, setting down for our kneeling lunge. Left knee to the floor. If you need to, if we needed to on the other side, maybe slide the right foot back right away. Stand up onto your left knee. Find that posterior pelvic tilt. Navel strong, glute strong. Right hand stays to right hip. Raise the left arm up overhead. As you exhale, reach left hand up over right shoulder. Long stretch through left knee to left hand. Left glute stays active, hip forwards. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Hands land down around right foot. I knew I forgot something. We didn't take 2 passes at kneeling pyramid. Pardon me. Move the hips back. Start to straighten right knee, flexing the right toes back toward the face. We'll stay here a little longer. We'll come out and come back in. Bend into the right knee just for a moment, giving it a slight rest. And slide the hips back again, coming back into the pose since we forgot our first round. Pardon me. I wrote it down, but it's over there. Bend back into the right knee. Now we'll take right arm inside right leg for lizard pose. Lengthening the stance if you need to. We can walk right leg forwards out in front of you. We could slide left knee back. From here, tuck the left toes, straighten left knee off the floor, more active into the left hip. Still breathing. And release the left knee. Bend the left knee, left heel toward left hip. Let it stay active for this round. Release the left toes. Now your choice if you'd like to add the twist, right hand to right knee, open right chest, right shoulder. Maybe add on the left knee bend again. We can take our lifted knee variation. Bind if you'd like, or decide to stay active. And release. Take the hands back inside right foot. Straighten the left knee off the floor. Pivot the feet. Pivot the toes in front of heels. Last pass at our wide leg fold. Adding on any additional bind, we can hold big toes again, ankles, calves, or if you'd like, interlace hands behind the back as we did in our forward fold previously. Inhale back to a wide leg half lift. Pivot left toes slightly wider than left heel. Start to walk the hands inside left leg. Press the left knee wide. Maybe hang out up here, similar to side angle, but the chest is reaching forwards. Toes and foot are at an angle instead of pointing all the way to the front of the mat. If you'd like, as long as the knee does not dip in toward the chest, we can come down to Skandasana, keeping the knee wide with the help of the elbow and the outside of the leg. Come back up to our wide leg half lift, spine straight out in front of hips, and pivot right toes wide of right heel. So again, we can come up right elbow onto right thigh if this is where we need to be today. A little more like side angle, chest still forwards, toes at an angle. Or take the hands inside right foot. Left toes can flex up, coming into Skandasana. Again, if you're down here looking a little like this, please choose to take the lifted variation. We're trying to stretch the hips. We're not trying to get your butt to the floor. And release back to our wide leg half lift. Spine strong on its own. Legs strong, bending the knees slightly. Take the hands to the front of the hips. Stand all the way up. Step your right foot forwards, back up to the top of the mat. Hands to heart center. Shift your weight into left leg. Bend the right knee up toward the height of the hip again, and I'm going to spin sideways so you can see. You can stay right there. Shifting toward our figure 4 chair, but left leg is going to stay straight. So we are staying active, lifting the inside of the calf, inside of right arch. And now go ahead and cross the right ankle over left thigh, sitting back, coming back into our figure 4 chair. As you stand up with the left leg, see if we can lift right ankle again. Ooh, maintaining that shape while we maintain our balance. Knee and shin back straight up and down. Release the right foot to the floor. Shift your weight into right leg. Bend left knee up toward the height of the hip. Tilting the shin first. Bring the left arch, left foot up toward the height of the knee. Right leg stays straight for now. Cross left ankle over the top of the right thigh, sitting back for our figure 4 chair. Standing up, as you stand up, lift the left ankle. Try to maintain that shape as we stand. Shin back straight up and down. Release the left foot to the floor. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back to plank or kneeling plank. Stay to breathe. And exhale, lower all the way down onto the floor. From here, coming into Sphinx pose, set onto your elbows and your forearms. Allow the low back, allow the pelvis to relax slightly. This will allow the low back curve to fully come in. If this is uncomfortable, do keep a little strength into the abdomen, protecting the low back. And from here, lift the right elbow off the floor. Slide left arm under right shoulder. Bend the right knee up in front of the hips. Let it land onto the ground, or if it does not want to land at all, find something to set your knee onto so that it can make contact, locking out the low back so we're twisting into the upper spine instead of lower spine. Open the right arm behind you. So again, right knee stays. So right shoulder and right arm might not land all the way, and that's okay. If you'd like, I'm going to show you with my left arm, but in this twist, please do it with your right arm. We're going to take a goalpost shape with the right arm, the arm that is twisted behind you, but just so you can see that motion. Winging the thumb up toward the top of the head and the elbow down toward the rib cage. So like we're making a snow angel. It's an awful pun for today. Snow angel with the right arm. We can take that option or keep the right arm straight out. And switch, come back through Sphinx pose, back to the center. Straighten the right leg back, right elbow, right forearm forwards up to Sphinx. And switch, straighten the left elbow off the floor. Slide your block to the other side if you need to as well. Right arm under left shoulder, roll on to right side. Bend the left knee up in front of the hips, and if you need, set it onto something. Open the left arm behind, letting it hang freely here, straight out or a goalpost shape if that's uncomfortable, if the elbow is bending backwards, a little hypermobile. If you'd like, take that winging motion, and you may notice that a twist to one side is much more comfortable, mobile, or uncomfortable and immobile than the other side. And release out, build back to Sphinx, back up onto elbows, onto forearms. If you'd like, build up higher onto the hands. And release the chest back to the floor. Take the arms back into a goalpost shape. Inhale to lift the chest, lift the arms. Stay to breathe here. Legs can stay, just working on wrapping the shoulder blades back. Bottom points of the shoulder blades pulling into the back. Exhale, release. Now, please take the hands down on either side of the rib cage like you would press up, but please stay. Same float in our locust variation, or I guess our up dog variation. A low cobra, pardon me. Which back bend are we doing? Floating the hands, pulling the shoulders blades back, squeezing the elbows back toward one another. Exhale, release, hands around rib cage. Come into a wide leg child's pose. Knees wider than rib cage. Arms walking forward. A relaxed variation of child's pose this time. Lifting up onto hands and knees. Sit your hips off to one side that you can see me still. We're going to take a couple windshield wiper variations. We're going to take them making sure we have 90 degrees in both the hips, both the knees, and the hips. So slide your left shin toward the top of the mat, or whatever top, whichever left or right, just remember which side you are doing. I will say front leg and back leg instead of left and right for now. So hips, both knees, all about 90 degrees. Turn the chest toward the front leg, however, thinking of pigeon pose. We can come down onto fingertips, starting to fold over, chest over left calf, maybe over left knee. We may feel this in the glute. Let the outside leg, the back leg, be active. Pardon, passive, totally passive. Oh my, so many active, passive poses today. Folding over left leg, front leg. And if you'd like, we can come down to elbows, or maybe we take elbows to a block, or we stay tall onto the fingertips. And if there's pinching, if there's numbness, or if you feel like something is popping over a tendon or a muscle, do be aware you can move your knee from side to side slightly. It might not have to be perfectly 90 degrees. You might need to find a different, healthier angle for you. Now back off slightly, so lift out of it just a little bit and think of pressing your front ankle, front leg into the floor as though you're trying to resist the pose. If I pressed in hard, as though I'd turn away. Press the outside of left leg into the floor. Feels strange, very active. Now release. Feel as though you're trying to pull the left foot, the left calf toward the chest, that same lift we had in our figure 4 chair. Active through the inside of the leg as though it could lift off the floor. You can even sit back slightly, and maybe it does lift. Maybe you get a cramp. Let it go if you get a cramp. Relax. Sit back into your back hip, back butt cheek, slowly into the ground, and we'll feel maybe already a fairly significant stretch in the inside of the hip capsule. We can stay here. If you'd like, we can lean back just a little bit more. This should be subtle. This should not feel super intense. Now, same, back off just a little bit, press the back foot, press back arch, back calf, the inside of the knee into the floor, relax. Now feel as though you're trying to lift the back leg off the floor. You can lean, cramp, lean forward slightly to do so and you might get a hip cramp. Sorry, not so sorry. I am a little sorry. And release. Switching sides. So rotate the legs, rotate the hips, again finding 90, 90, 90 or so. And we'll bring left shoulder over right leg, what is now our front leg, starting to fold as though we were in pigeon. Can stay as high as you'd like. We might need to shift where exactly the knee and the hip are. Now back off slightly, press the leg into the floor as though you were trying to press through the floor. Relax. Now, we might lean back even more. Feel like you're trying to lift. This leg's not going anywhere. Lift the right foot, lift the right leg off the floor so you can't see what's going on, but we're trying to lift the right calf. And relax. Sit back into the left leg, left glute down toward the floor. Stay to breathe here. Oh, and there, I always try to think, now that I don't have you in front of me, I try to think, what questions have people asked in this pose before? Where should you feel this? It's going to be a little different. Hopefully that first one, you felt it in the glute. But if your adductors, the inside of your legs, are extremely tight or extremely weak, it's entirely possible you felt this entire thing in the back leg. So do know that that is also probable, possible. Now, press the left foot into the floor. Still breathing. Relax. Try to lift left heel off the floor. Maybe lean so you can get a little hover, a little sliver. Maybe we Charlie horse. Sorry about it. And relax. Go ahead and rotate back out into a diamond pose. Lifting tall. Refold just for a moment here. If there was any cramping, hopefully this is going to help alleviate it. And lift up. Take the left leg wide, bring the right foot in. Twisting, left hand to right knee, spin tall through the spine, open right shoulder back, right chest. And turn the head toward left toes, taking our revolved head to knee pose. Left arm can slide down. Right arm up and over. If it's uncomfortable for the arm to be over the head, we can drape behind the back. And lift up. Switch legs, switch sides. Right leg out, left foot in. Twisting first, right hand to left knee, sit tall, open left shoulder back. Turn the head toward right toes, right leg. Slide the right arm down the leg. Left arm can reach up and over or keep it behind low back if you'd prefer. And sitting up. Take both legs out. And we're going to slide the knees back, slide the feet back slightly. Toes are wide, but they do not have to be forced wide. They can just relax wide. Hold on to the front of the knees, lifting the chest forwards, or reach down to hold on to the front of the shin or the front of the ankles. Almost as though we're in a goddess pose with the legs, but pulling the navel forwards, pulling the chest forwards. And we can fold slightly, a little bit more for the inside of hips. Inside seam of the upper leg. This is a tricky area to get, especially because hamstrings are so tight. And sitting up, take the knees toward one another. Go ahead and spin into your preferred direction for Shavasana, releasing onto your back, keeping the knees pointed toward the ceiling. And from here, walk the heels back close to the hips, setting up for bridge. Take the arms on either side of the torso. Like the beginning, using the glutes to help lift through hip creases, hip flexors. Raising up, navel back slightly, glutes active. And release spine, release hips to the floor. Take the arms out to the sides. We'll take our twists this time with the shoulders, with the arms being our anchor, so the legs may not land all the way. If you'd like, find that block, find a prop if you'd like to. And we'll pick up the knees, pick up the feet, and release the knees to the right. They may land onto a prop. They may land all the way onto the floor. You can use your right hand to help anchor them. And then turn the head in the opposite direction. Head to the left, knees to the right. Or if you found yourself backwards, you're welcome to stay. Just remember which side we've done. If the low back feels super pulled off to the side, we may need to move the pelvis a little to the left and then release the knees to the right. Make sure the low back feels all right. And press the right arm into the ground. Take the knees back up. If you need to, move the hips back to the center, or if you know you'd like to for the other side, move them to the right slightly. Pick up knees, pick up the feet, release the knees to the left. Left arm can anchor the legs, turning the head to the right. Repositioning hips if you need to. And with every exhale, think of softening both sides, the arm, the shoulder, and the hips and the legs, relaxing from the spine in opposite directions. Pressing the left arm into the ground, take the knees up. Release the feet to the floor, move the hips back to the center if they're not already. So spine can be straight once again. Hug the knees into the chest. And relax through the knees and hips a little bit. Bring the knees more over the navel and the hips rather than really toward the chest. Hook the hands onto the front of the knees, the shin side of the knees. Press the knees into the hands, away from you. Pull the hands into the chest, towards you. So we're creating opposition. Arms are trying to pull in, knees are trying to press away. Still breathing. Relax. Switch directions. Hands press into the tops of the legs, quad side of the legs. Knees try to make it to the chest. Arms press the knees away. Stay active. We might shake. And relax. Hug the knees into the chest. Relaxed. Add on any additional shapes or poses you'd like. If you'd like another round of figure 4. If you'd like any additional twists. Take anything else for you to feel comfortable and ready to release for your Shavasana. Taking your time to get there. Any movements, any wiggles. It doesn't have to be a pose. Maybe recline butterfly, maybe happy baby. It was almost like an active variation of happy baby. We took our last pose in our seat. Active or passive. And when you're ready, release to your preferred shape. I'm going to sit up. Please do stay on your back if that is how you'd like to take this. And begin to feel where the back of the body lands when you do land, when you're ready. Take your time. An additional request that someone had for class was motivation. Ain't that the truth? I'm going to take a meditation, a visualization for navel center, supporting all of this strength we've brought into the abdomen, into the core of our body and finding that motivation and that fire in the core of our being. Relaxing onto your back. Whole body rests, back body into floor. As you exhale, feel that release. Feel the floor holding you up. Picturing at the navel a swirling flame. Slowly, this flame starts to send out little waves of fire, dendrites of this spiral, swirling throughout whole body from navel center. Seeing this fire-like spiral through navel, expanding out into whole physical body. Picturing this fire-like glow swirling from abdomen through whole body. Thinking back to your intention. Thinking about what prevents you from fully embodying this intention. Any thought patterns, any ruts we may be stuck in. The thought that this time is useless, or the thought that this time has to be productive. Considering what the opposites, the preventative actions of this intention could be. Seeing these things, these thought patterns, these actions, ideas, being drawn into this flame at navel center. Removing these thought patterns, these actions, these habits that we would tend to take. Now, having dissolved these opposite actions or things to our intention, please bring your awareness into heart center, picturing a rose-colored glow at the heart. Considering what does support this intention, what does support this motivation. Calling to mind these actions that support, these thought patterns that support or enhance, that could fully bring this intention into play. These actions that would make this intention automatic, even. Changing, reversing these habits. Picturing this rose-colored glow with these ideas, these thoughts, these words of affirmation or support throughout whole body. Whole body resting in this nourishing rose-colored glow. Finding not only this motivation, but also the compassion in the moments where we don't have this motivation. Offering grace, offering love to the self in whatever mood it may be in. Keeping this compassion, this rose-colored glow, and your intention going if you'd like. As you expand awareness back into physical body. Expand breath back out into the awareness of the physical body. Feel the torso change shape. Feel the breath reach out into limbs, into hands and feet. Gently start to move fingers and toes. Bend ankles and wrists, slowly bringing movement back into the body. Taking your time and eventually rolling onto one side for a couple breaths. After a few breaths on your side, come up into a tall seat. Once again, tracing the intake of the breath in through the nose to upper chest, lowest lobes of the lungs down to abdomen. And as you exhale, tracing the breath back up and out through the nose. Returning to your intention, the things that support your intention, and at the same time, this self-compassion, this grace, in the moments we don't feel as fully ourselves, in the moments that are difficult to support this intention. Honoring those moments, honoring that they too will pass, taking your awareness when you can, back to this intention, bringing your body back into movement or stillness, depending on what it needs. Bringing your mind back to its stable, clear center whenever you can. Please bring the hands together at heart center, bowing your head to your chest, acknowledging your breath, your peace, and all that you are. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. So that was a whole lot of hip mobility. You might find muscles that are sore tomorrow that you didn't know you had. Or I'm sure if you're coming here from usually attending Tuesday nights at Wesley, or even a lot of the classes at New Dawn that I teach, some of that weird hip mobility might not be a new thing for you. So if you love it, you're welcome. If you hated it, I'm sorry. But I will take some more requests for next week too. So if you have anything you'd like to be working on, whether it's a mobility of a certain joint, honestly, motivation is a good one. That was so great, Katie. Yeah. That's a thing right now. I was talking to a friend today. She said she ordered a color by numbers or paint by numbers thing. And I have been also trying to mindfully color. And even when I'm like coloring, I'm like, okay, gotta get this done. Why am I trying to get this coloring page done? Like, enjoy yourself, woman. So it's definitely push-pull kind of battle. So
Thanks, guys. Thanks for practicing with me today. If you'd like to see more videos, if you'd perhaps like to see more of Miko's arm being shoved under the door, I'll link a couple right here. I'll link my page. I'll link the most recent series or video. And subscribe if you would like to let yourself know when I put out a new video. What do you think, Miko? Do you think that's a good idea? I think that's a good idea.